Hi, it's Neil Paddock from House Program Drums here, and today's video is about the HammerHead Rhythm Station and a new reboot for Propellerhead Reason 7. Okay, if you haven't seen HammerHead before, I'm not sure where you've been. It's been around practically forever. It was created in 1997 by Bram Bos. I'm just going to give you a very quick tour. So here we go. We open a track, and so you can see it. We'll call up acid.hh. This is a song or a rhythm pattern, and it sounds like this. Okay, and similarly we can open another track, chemical, and it sounds like this. So HammerHead's a pretty cool little rhythm station. I've had a couple of niggles with it over the years. One is that it isn't MIDI capable, so you can't synchronize it with something else. The other thing I had problems with right up until very recently is being able to save files. So we just heard acid, and we're listening to chemical now. Now it just so happens that if you stream to disk, and avoid this whole session option, because that doesn't work, either current measures or all measures will create an audio file for you. Okay, so I'm not going to do that now. I have already done that. And here's the chemical one, so I'm going to open that with Goldwave, and this is what it looks like. Okay, so we've solved the problem. So this is the original, and this is the audio file that we've been able to generate, which I'm now playing in Goldwave. Okay, and I can also loop that in Goldwave if I so choose. Let's pause it. And so that gives me the facility to play any of those things. Now, interestingly enough, Reason gives you the ability to take a drum loop, just like the one we're looking at on the screen, and cut it up into slices and play it in something called Doctor Octo Rex. So let's see if I can show you that now. I'm going to drag Reason across. And what we're going to do is we're going to zoom in on this Doctor Octo Rex. Now, going through exactly the same process, streaming those patterns to disk, the first thing I was able to do was to basically create loops. And let's see what happens if I click on this one. That's acid. Now it might be breaking up a little bit the audio just because I've got a lot of things open to record this. Yeah. So hopefully that gives you an idea. This is the loop. Now, how do we actually create a loop? How do we convert it into something that Doctor Octo Rex can use? Well, it's quite simple. I don't actually have one on here at all, do I? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just create a new file just for the purposes of this exercise. I'm going to squash down a few other bits and pieces, and basically all you do is drag a WAV file in. So we were just playing with chemical just now. If I go to the sequencer, now I did forget a step, so I'm going to undo that. It's important to, I believe it's important to match the tempo of whatever you're bringing in. So let's bring in chemical. There we go, at 143 beats per minute. Now let's enlarge that a bit. If I play it, obviously it's the same pattern that we were playing on HammerHead just now. Now what I can do with this, because it's now the right tempo, 143, all I need to do in Reason 7 is double click on it, and it's going to chop it up into slices for me. Okay, so I can audition those slices with this little speaker icon just by left clicking with the little speaker, and that can help me to determine if it's sliced the file correctly. Okay. Now we could get into all sorts of ramifications of, is that two? I think that's 2 beats, isn't it? Well, I'll tell you what, we'll slice it, what the hell. So you take your pencil tool and you just add another slice where that transient is. Now I might be slightly off, but I can go back to audition it. Nice crisp hit. So there you go, I've added an extra slice. Now what I'm probably going to do is just cut and paste that narrative, add labels to clips so we know which one that is. It's just a good practice to get into it. We usually default that in. Anyway, we'll double click. We've got our slices now. It's remembered the one I put in, fortunately. And let's, for the sake of argument, you may have to finesse these yourself, but what we'll do is we'll right click and we'll bounce to Rex loop. Okay, there it is in a little pop-up window in all its glory. And if I say to rack, it's literally popped it in there for me. Now there will be a little bit of audio pop out on this at the moment. I'm sorry about that. But there you go. Here it is. And if I select slices by MIDI, you can see it playing each slice one at a time. They track in MIDI. There's a hell of a lot more to this than I can go through. This was only just going to be a brief introduction, but that's basically what I've done with all the others. So I'm going to close that now. And we won't save it. Poor thing. And what I'm now going to show you is a file which I'm going to make available for download, hopefully in the near future. And it's made up of several sets of drum machines. Now, what this is, it's a reboot for the HammerHead Rhythm Station. So what it basically is me having taken all the rhythms from HammerHead and resampled the original drum samples and then populated them into these Redrum templates. Now, Redrum is probably the first, the oldest Reason drum machine. Its speciality is single hits or one-shot samples. So I may just show you just one other file, if I can. Now, what I basically did here, this is quite a busy schedule, but if you fire up, say, Chemical 143 that we were looking at just now, and then scroll across the channels, you'll see that these particular samples were created. Can I get this up and we can check it? So there's, on channel 1 we've got a 909 bass drum, there we go. An acoustic closed hi-hat on channel 2, 909 snare, 909 snare, jungle bass drum down here, and acoustic open hi-hat. So I have replicated those things. I've multi-sampled these in as much as I've sampled the reversals, or I've just swapped them around. And I've set up a whole bunch of templates based on this information. So basically, if you call up each of the original songs that came with HammerHead, starting with Acid and then Chemical and working your way through the others, you'll find that each one has a slightly different drum configuration, which I've captured here. So if we look at Chemical, what I've also done is programmed in the pattern. So if we go to pattern A1 and we enable it, you've got all the samples playing, and the only thing I would need to do there is actually just top the tempo back up to 143. I should do it there. Okay, so we're at 10 minutes already. Now, in this file, it's got a Reason song file. I'm probably going to zip it up into a refill to save on space. There are 11 redrums, one for each of the standard songs and a novelty one. Now, I'm not going to go through them all here. I think that's something perhaps for you to investigate. But if you've not seen Redrum before, each one of these is a little channel. Each one's got a sample on. So this is the bass drum, and that corresponds to the first 6 channels. Basically, the first 6 channels on here, you'll see bass drum, hi-hat, snare, snare, jungle, bass drum, open hi-hat. I've done the same thing up here for the first 6 channels. What I've also done is I've given you a ride cymbal on channel 10, and I've given you some hi-hats on channels 8 and 9, because that's basically the proprietary channels that Reason work on with Redrum. You've also got a crash cymbal on 7, so you've got some bonus sounds in there just to give you more chance of these things working first time. So we were doing chemical just now, weren't we? So that's obviously HammerHead, and this is, oh, if I go to the right one, drum number 2. It should sound exactly the same because it's basically been resampled, and these templates, these redrums, have been populated with exactly the same information. So there's a lot of those. Now, what I also did, I don't know whether you're that familiar, but you can go in and program the pattern. So that's what I've done here. I've also programmed in some variations as well. So the first 8, A1 through to A8, are all variations on that theme. So let me show you A2. And go back to A1. A little drum roll there, and so on and so forth. So each one's got at least 8 variations on the original. What you also have in the body of the sequencer, if I blow this up, and I don't want to keep this to 15 minutes, I have basically output the MIDIs. So you've got those here. If you just press play on the sequencer, they'll all play at the same time. You don't want that. You want to mute everything, or you want to just solo one of these at a time. Okay, and that's pretty much it. I think Sharky's a great beat. I wonder if I can just play Sharky, and the easiest way I think to do that is to go up here and turn this on. That's a bit quick. It's usually about 110, I believe. Yeah. So again, we just go and change the tempo, and you'll get Sharky the beat, which is exactly the same as the one on here. If you open Sharky, so I hope that gives you a flavour. Now, this shipped with a whole bunch of loops as well. Now that's why I have treated those separately, and you've got a Doctor Octo Rex in this file as well. So I'll probably make the template available. I'm still waiting for Bram Bos to respond to me on this, so it's probably not going to be issued for a little while. I still want to see if he's happy for me to go ahead and release this. So that's it. We're at the 15-minute mark now. This is Neil Paddock from How to Program Drums, previewing the HammerHead Rhythm Station reboot for Reason. Hope you enjoy it. Look forward to seeing your comments. Like the page if you want to, and share it with your friends. And I'll see you on the next video. Thanks, and thank you for watching, and bye for now.